Something good, what do I gotta get now?
And like I said, I went through this all this afternoon. I had
Well,
no
that's easy
problem.
for you to say.
Tonight I got here and I couldn't get it.
Call the meeting to order.
Go ahead.
And we have any citizens or public comments? Seeing none, welcome everybody. Consideration of approval of the agenda.
So move, Your Honor.
I would second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
The agenda is approved as submitted. Consideration of approval of the minutes of the August 28 and September 5 meetings. Any discussion?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Minutes of the August 28 and September 5 meetings are approved. Consideration for approval of the consent calendar. Any questions regarding the consent calendar?
So move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Consent calendar is approved as submitted. There is no business of the merit this evening. Next up is a homecoming parade request. Give us your name and
Larry Wolf, Assistant Principal up at the Charles City High School, Mayor.
thank you.
On behalf of the student body, I'd like to, first of all, reach out to you guys and invite you to the Homecoming 2017-18 this week. But more importantly is request the parade route as traditionally down Ferguson on Friday starting at 4:15.
Any changes or
We'll still do the loading area by the YMCA and the Senior Citizen Center there on that road there, and then we'll go down Ferguson, turn at Iowa Title there, and work our way back up. So it'll take longer for us to assimilate and line up for the parade than it'll be, but nevertheless, it's still part of our tradition and an exciting part nevertheless.
then you have some events right after the parade?
Well, we have a lot of stuff going on, Mayor Urban, and so far, first challenge is I'd like to invite you all to make sure you're dressed in orange and black on Friday, whether you're in, working as the Assistant City Attorney or the Mayor himself. I'd be for sure for sporting an orange and black tie that day. But yeah, throughout the week we have events. Tuesday is our Spirit Day, where you'll see the kids out in the community and doing their thing. And we have activities throughout the week. We kicked it off with an inspirational speaker on Monday today, and then on Friday we'll have our high school tailgater, you will, and pep assembly in the gym, followed by the crowning and the coronation of the King and Queen, and then the parade at 4:15. There's an Excellent in Education Foundation is conjoined with Homecoming this year, so we'll be recognizing inductees into the Excellent Ed Hall of Fame as well. So that will be a little social event in front of the middle school for the football game. They'll be recognized at the football game, and then there'll be a luncheon at the fairgrounds on Saturday at 10 o'clock. So for a $10 ticket, you can come out and spend some time with some alumni, both as teachers and student athletes, and be recognized as part of that community. And that's something that we're going to kind of continue to do year in year, because homecoming is a really good time to bring all those groups together.
Any questions anybody has?
So move.
Second. Sounds like fun.
Thank you very much. And I'll look for you guys dressed in orange and black ties on Friday.
Clerk will call the roll.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Okay, the request is granted.
Have fun.
Consideration of Resolution 87-17 approving engineering services agreement with Fox Engineering. Discussion.
Yeah, we've had some initial discussions with Fox and some questions about how we're going to handle the resident on-site inspection of the project. So I'm going to ask you to take no action tonight. There's really no rush with this. We'll get it on the next agenda, but we want to finalize how we're going to do that exactly, because we think as we talked about at the meeting the other night, we thought we'd hire somebody locally to kind of do that portion of the work, but there's going to be parts of that work where it's full-time intense and a lot of stuff going on, and for those times, we think it's better to have somebody from Fox here on site reviewing that, and then as the workload gets lighter, we might do some of that with some part-time staff. So we're just going to tweak that a little bit, and we'll get that back to you for the next time for approval.
Sounds good. I move to table.
Don't do that.
Nope,
Don't
no
do
table.
that.
Please.
I thought that's what you wanted. Sorry about
I
that.
just want to take no action.
Any other questions?
The only thing with, when you table it, then we have to have a meeting to bring it back off the table,
Right.
and then we can act on it on the following meeting. So it's just better if we just take no action.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item. Resolution 96-17, approving facade application to 200 North Main Street. Discussion. Hello.
No, Mark, I was going to say, Mark, if you want to get up and speak to it. Thank you.
Good evening. Jim McNeilis is with me here. If you have any questions, this is what his wife terms the baby Derby that has moved to a new location. They downsized the store. It is at 200 North Main in one of the suites there, right on Main Street. And they are seeking just about $650 of the facade improvement fund for sign, lettering on the windows, and UV window protection.
As we discussed at the planning session, all the items that they are requesting you feel are within the parameters of the grant.
Yes, and it's all work that's been done previously. The other store was part of the master facade plan. We did UV protection windows. That protects the merchandise inside, keeps it from fading. This would be a covering to the new windows at the new location.
I'd so move.
Second. Clerk, call the roll.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Resolution 96-17 is approved. Consideration of motion approving submission of application for 2018 CDBG owner-occupied rehabilitation grant. Discussion.
I'm Heidi Nielsen, the Director of the Housing Department, and we're actually looking for approval to just proceed with the application process. The application itself won't be submitted until May of 2018. The program provides up to $24,999 in improvements for owner-occupied properties of the households would have incomes less than 80% of the area median income. In the past, we've run this program several times, and we've assisted up to 47 households at this time. We have kind of proposed that we keep the structure of the program similar to as in the past, where we partner with NIACOG, and then the city departments, the code enforcement department and the housing department do a lot of the on-site administrative duties and all the field work. We do not have a proposed budget at this time. It will probably be similar to the last couple, where the city has to provide a $30,000 local match, but about $25,000 of that will be in kind, and then $5,000 be a hard cash cost to the city. We have identified a preliminary target area, which we have chosen to go with one of the census block groups, because that gives us the required families with the area of limit, the LMI 80%. And that target area runs roughly from 6th Avenue up to 13th Avenue, and then from North Grand over to East Street. There are a few isolated areas north to that that are not in the floodplain that will also be included, but the exact addresses haven't been determined yet. So, and I think that is about kind of all we have at this time. You know, we just need to kind of get approval so we can move ahead with the application process, so we know that we're kind of spending our time wisely.
I know this program's done a lot of good in the past.
Yes.
Where's the $5,000 come out of? What is that, just general fund?
It's Rudius General
It's
Fund,
just
isn't
general
it?
fund.
Okay, I just couldn't remember for sure. I thought it was.
And last time, we did require the homeowners to submit any rebates that they got for furnaces or any energy efficiency back to the city, and that did cover some of the local match.
I think it's a great program. I'd so move.
I would second.
Any further discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Okay, the request is granted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Consideration of Resolution 97-17 approving agreement with City Improvement Association. Discussion.
Yeah, the city's had a long, ongoing working relationship with the City Improvement Association to help maintain. We help maintain their parks, and in turn, they compensate us for doing that work, both in direct cash and through a monetary contribution towards purchasing equipment. And so our current 3-year contract ends this December. We're looking to renew that for an additional 3 years. So in total, the city would receive $40,000 in compensation. $5,000 in cash each year, then the $25,000 in mowing equipment, as I'd mentioned. And that's for mowing, trimming, garbage disposal, and so on and so forth. Some of the changes in the contract, they're pretty minor. We've deleted Garden Court Park, which is that park which is now part of McQuillan Place over there by the arcade area. That's been deleted. And then we tweaked some of the language or wordage, maybe there's a better description, on the Mill Race Park under number 6 there, as far as getting permission to make any adjustments to the park. We thought with the work that we're going to be doing in the parking lot behind there in the next year or two, that that we just focus on permission to make changes beyond the concrete area of the park itself and not of the green space. So that was kind of left out. Additional changes were they worked in some flexibility as far as what may happen and rather than shall happen for various things. So it in large part stays pretty much the same. So we ask for the council's approval on this.
I so move.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion?
It's been a great program for a lot of years for the city. And the association, I believe. Everybody wins on it.
It really is a great relationship.
Clerk will call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Resolution 97-17 is approved. Consideration of the third and final reading of ordinance 1108, amending Chapter 55 of the Charles City Code of Ordinances by adding a new Section 55.15 for the purpose of providing a procedure for the disposition of impounded dogs which have been adjudicated to be vicious. Discussion.
Yeah, basically what we looked at doing here was when it came to our vicious dog ordinance, you know, we made some substantial changes about a year and a half ago. And when it came to a dog being adjudicated to be vicious, we didn't have a clearly defined way of moving forward on how to deal with that vicious animal, other than to put that animal down. So we wanted to put in some provisions to allow, in case, you know, certain cases for that animal to be taken out of city limits, and or if a dog is deemed to be vicious and is deemed to be needed to put down, that person, that dog owner, have the right to appeal and have their case heard. So we've amended this to include some provisions for that. You know, if somebody wants to have a hearing, they'll file it with the city clerk. Ultimately, they'll meet with me to state their case, and then I'll ultimately have to make a decision on a dog that's been adjudicated to be vicious that we feel needs to be put down. So it gives somebody a course of action to take, and also provides for getting some animals, you know, that aren't quite, they're deemed vicious but maybe aren't as egregious as some others, to have an alternate outcome, so if you will. So today I haven't heard any thoughts or comments, I guess, from the public on this. So I guess I request that the council approve the third and final reading.
Has there been a lot of comments about this whole ordinance since it was put in with the dogs and everything else since we worked on it?
Not too much. I mean, Chief could probably speak to that a little bit better, but I think we feel that we've got a lot of dogs registered, but there's still probably a good number of dogs out there that aren't registered. But I think overall it's been pretty well accepted. Yeah.
Just that first discussion we had.
Up to the,
We first started the ordinance is the only thing we really had. Since then, we really haven't had much. As Brad can attest to, we do have quite a few that aren't registered that we run across. Kathy just registered quite a few even today. So still catching up on it, though.
Yeah. I just was curious. I mean, I think that's going to be an ongoing thing, just kind of massaging this thing and working with it as we go for a while. I'd so move for...
I would second that.
clerk will call the roll.
Reisman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Bear Sands ordinance.
I was going to say I
The
had to.
the third reading is approved, and we'll have it.
Ordinance number 1108, an ordinance amending Chapter 55 of the Charles City Code of Ordinances by adding a new Section 55.15 for the purpose of providing a procedure for the disposition of impounded dogs which have been adjudicated to be vicious.
Thank you.
Thank you for the use of the old hard paper copy.
Is there a motion to adopt and publish?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Reisman.
Aye.
Okay, the ordinance is adopted and will be published. Consideration of the first reading of ordinance 1110, amending section 41.14, fireworks, to amend and delete certain provisions concerning the sale, transfer, and purchase of consumer fireworks. Discussion.
Yes, Your Honor. When we first prepared the updated firework ordinance earlier this summer, we took a look at what other cities were doing, and it was common for other cities to require a city-issued permit in addition to a state-issued license, and then for the city to also require its own inspection. Since our ordinance has passed, there was a challenge to the requirement that firework companies obtain permits from cities. I believe that was in the city of Ankeny, and the court held that cities are preempted from requiring the sale of fireworks or to obtain a permit from the city, fireworks sellers to obtain a permit from the city. So we're just amending our ordinance to delete the requirement that the seller of consumer fireworks obtain a city-issued permit and also conduct an inspection with the city. Again, there's pretty stringent requirements in the state code as far as who's authorized to obtain a license to sell fireworks. And there's also requirements on inspections with the state fire marshal. So there are already laws in place regarding the sale and inspection for consumer fireworks. But again, the court stated that cities are preempted from including additional requirements to the state fire marshal regulations and to the state code. So we're just bringing our ordinance into compliance based on the most recent court hearings we've reviewed. Yep.
Other questions or discussion?
I assume this is going to be kind of an ongoing deal with this section as well, isn't it, Brad?
Yep.
Just kind of a lot of massaging for a few years.
Yep. I guess the amendments we're making, or we're proposing to make, are simply amendments regarding the sale of fireworks, so it's not changing anything in regard to the use and explosion, which would still be prohibited under our city ordinance. But essentially, we're just going to rely on the state code and the requirements set forth in the state code in regards to the sale of consumer fireworks.
Plus, there's quite a bit of ongoing discussion going on.
Yes, Your Honor.
Des Moines, around, and a number of other places. So you'll probably see some shaking out of
Right.
how to address this?
At this point, we're probably going to mainly rely on our zoning ordinance as far as restricting the sale of consumer fireworks.
So it basically ends up, we can sell fireworks under these restrictions in Charles City, but you cannot use them in Charles City.
Correct.
Further discussion or questions?
I'd so move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Okay, the first reading of ordinance 1110 is approved. We'll have the reading.
Ordinance number 1110, an ordinance amending section 41.14, fireworks, to amend and delete certain provisions concerning the sale, transfer, and purchase of consumer fireworks.
Thank you. Consideration of resolution 98-17, approving contract for the 2017 miscellaneous PCC pavement repair project. Discussion.
Yeah, the miscellaneous PCC pavement repair project is an annual project that we use as a pavement management tool where we remove isolated areas that have failed in an otherwise good section of paving. This year's project includes 4 locations. First location is 440 square feet in Riverside Drive. That's located just right over here near the new Hot Shots location. 35 lineal feet of curb and gutter repair on Clark Street, right over here in front of the Optometric Center. There's an area between First Security Bank and Tyson's in the city-owned parking lot. And the 4th location is on Clark Street, near just west of the intersection with Branningham. Now, bids were opened on August 31st, and we received only one bid, and that was from CAM Excavating in the amount of $26,634.75. Our cost opinion for this project was $24,000. Now, although we only received one bid, it wasn't unexpected since there's limited contractors that are interested in this work anyway, and this project is made up of isolated separate projects. So although we only received one bid, it is fairly close to our estimate, so I'd recommend the council approve Resolution 9917 awarding the bid to CAM Excavating and authorizing the mayor to sign the construction contract.
Discussion or questions?
I don't remember the parameters on this. What's the time frame to get it done?
Let's see, the time frame, we've given them till next year. So it would be this fall or next spring.
Next spring, okay.
But within, by June, so it's paid in this fiscal year.
Okay. I'd so move.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Resolution 98-17 is approved. Miscellaneous correspondence.
None, Your Honor.
City Attorney's report.
None, Your Honor.
City Clerk's report.
Our next planning session will be on September 25th. And I don't know if I've really given you guys a full report on RAGBRAI. We ended up clearing about $28,000 after we got all the expenses. We still have a couple of small ones that we need to get in yet. Of that, the executive committee wants to save back $5,000 or $6,000 as seed money for the next time it comes through. We are refunding $175 of each of the nonprofit vendor fees, just as a thank you for them for stepping up and providing meals and such for all the riders. And we are very happy to announce that we have $20,000 that we are going to open up for a grant program for local projects here in town. We are maxing that out at $5,000 per project, so we have the ability to fund at least 4 projects. There's applications here at City Hall and at the Chamber office. The deadline is October 6th to get them in. We will set a date and a time for all those people that applied to come and visit with the committee on their project and answer any questions, and then we will decide who gets the money. So I'm very happy to see that that money will be here locally, and hopefully some great projects are going to come forward. So.
Thank you. Anything else?
Nope, not for me.
The next meeting is, did you say?
September 25th.
Okay. I skipped one thing in my remarks, so I'll put it in now. Trick or treat, 31st of October, 5:30 to 7:30, which is no change from what we've been doing for a number of years now. So
Thank you. We've been getting phone calls at City Hall. Thank you.
there you go.
Also known as Spook Walk.
Don't confuse people with trick or treat.
What?
You need to wear your costume in there.
I'm going to have to.
City Administrator's Report.
Just a reminder that we have our comprehensive planning meetings this week, so if you're involved with that, we'll see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow and 1:30 on Thursday.
9 o'clock.
I'll also be down in Ankeny for a little while tomorrow afternoon for IAMU broadband. It's prior to their main conference, but we're having a group of communities that are looking at doing their own fiber broadband, getting to talk about their potential projects. So we'll be down there visiting with other folks that are in the same boat as we are. So we'll be doing that tomorrow as well. Wednesday, we're going to be doing a tour of McQuillan Place to see how that's moving along. So I hope to have more report on that. Otherwise, I think that's about all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Board, Commissioner, Committee reports. Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we're adjourned.
Someone owes someone a call.